So in this video I'm going to show you all my mixed media tricks that I use when I'm painting. So I've just mixed up some paint here and putting it on before it's kind of all completely mixed, so you can still see the colours that I've used to mix that sort of dark green in the paint. The burnt sienna, the green, you can still see coming through. Then I flick some water over it and spread the water over the wet paint, and then you get these lovely soft marks. Now I've mixed up a light colour and I'm spreading that over with the colour shaper over the top of the paint. And I'm really trying to have a variety of paint effects, the way that I apply the paint. So using the colour shaper, I can spread the paint over and have it really thin, or I can have it thick. And you can see there the colours coming through that are used to mix up that dark colour. So applying it before it's all completely mixed through lets those little hints of sort of more intense colour come through. Now I'm drawing and adding these nice scribbly sort of marks, and some of them are sort of made to sort of look like something, but I don't want to be too literal, so I sort of make sure that they look like something that we don't quite know what that thing is. So they're a little bit ambiguous. And I'm using the pencil to, and just like I use the paint, to create different effects. So I'll scribble loosely, I'll scribble tightly so that I get these blocks of colour. I'll use it just for line and let the line wander. I'll create things that look like things, lots of different sort of marks. Now I'm coming right in over the top with light, it's almost white. And just to sort of knock back the value contrasts, because I really want to create an interesting surface here. I want there to be history and depth. So I have to sort of knock it back and then bring it through again. And this is, on here, are some high flow paint and a bit of airbrush medium. So I'm mixing those together to create these sort of more intense glazes that come through here. So it's a sort of a soft colour, but it's quite a saturated colour. And it mixed with the medium, it creates really sort of quite nice loose effects. Now I want a shape, so I'm looking at my shape templates and stencils and looking for some edges that will create the sort of shape that I want. And then I can adjust it with the edge of my flat brush. I want some thick paint in here. Everything so far has been quite loose and sort of thin and flowy, and now I want to have some edges. So having created some edges, now I go back to the thin, loose, flowy again with that same colour so that it's integrated into the style of the painting that's sort of being built up here. Now bringing in with paint the colour that is underneath. So that's that nice sort of tealy, bluey green colour. And I'm making an edge. So I'm having soft edges, hard edges, and I'm just bringing it over the top of that sort of darkish beige, bringing in some more sort of bluey colours and just spreading it around. Now I'm kind of thinking that I'll create a sort of a landscapey thing here. I really don't know, but I'm just sort of put that blue at the top to sort of pretend that's a sky. And this could be a pond or whatever, but it's fairly loose. I'm just making it all up as I go along. But I want some lines, so I'm going to use a pencil, and I'm going to use that pencil in different ways. I'm going to make it dense in parts, and I'm going to make it loose and light in other parts. And now creating an edge with this white, so coming in and creating a shape over the top of it that sort of creates a horizon line. So blocking out some darks with a light colour and sort of looking at the spaces that I've got here. Now I liked that sort of curve, so I thought I'd add another one, and then with that there's a bit more medium going on, and a little bit more of the high flow paint, just to bring some warmth into the side of the painting. And that's a bit of ink, so I'm just seeing how that will mix with the high flow paint and the medium. Okay, so bringing in some more paint, a little bit of the colour that I've got at the top, I'm bringing in sort of similar colour to down the bottom, just to sort of ground this painting. And I'm trying to work out what I'm going to do with that funny shape there. So I think I'll darken it up, and having done that, I wasn't overly keen with the shape, so then I come and refine it a bit, make it not so big and blobby. So now it's not taking up quite so much space, and it's kind of organic. Could suggest a figure. Now that's quite a solid shape, so putting a line next to it is very different, and so that's going to look good. And here I'm sort of framing it with more of the green. Using the end of the paintbrush as a drawing tool, working, scratching through wet paint. And now I'm going to paint with a pointed brush and just sort of paint my little goatees in here. I have a couple of goats, and I like to include them in my paintings where I can, because I can. This is freedom in paint. This is doing whatever you feel like doing in your painting. So bringing some more of that bluey green colour over to the left, and I'm feeling like it looks really good with that warm colour, so I like that there. And now I want to, it's very loose on the left hand side, so I want to bring in something that is more representational. So that sort of man-made building type, doorway, archway type thing is my attempt at that. And now I'm sort of looking at the garden that I'm sitting around, I have around me when I'm in my studio, and I'm sort of drawing leaves and plants, but I've turned the book on its side so that they're not coming up from the ground. I want to change the orientation for these. And that's freedom, you see. That's, you can have things upside down, you can have things on the side. There's no rules. You can do it however you like. So putting a bit of paint into that, and then drawing through with the pencil over the top of the paint, coming through with the colour shaper and moving that paint around. Now I wasn't overly keen with that messy little edge there, so I sort of try and slide some of that over. But it's all trial and error. It's all seeing what will work. So I come in with some paint and sort of draw these wiggly sort of organic type lines. Let that dry. And having that deep blue at the bottom and that dark sort of browny shape, I feel like I need something deep and dark up here in this part of the painting, this part of the composition. So that's why I'm bringing in that red. And I also already have a little bit of red up there. So now using the colour shaper, using the edge to draw with, there's so many ways you can use a colour shaper. And having some watery paint next to the thick paint. Now this is liquid latex, so it's masking fluid. And I'm painting it on, and as I would do the rest of the painting, you'll see that white gradually disappear as it dries. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm just going to add in some pattern. And this is very sort of, these are sort of structured lines and linear pattern, which is quite different from all the loose paint work that's in the painting already. And here are some sort of dotty circles, building up the stripes. our pattern is very sort of ordered, and that's very different from the way that I've been putting on the media, so that's going to look quite good in contrast. Now using my flat brush to sort of create edges and shapes. And now that that latex is dried, I can come in over the top and paint white. That's just sort of light paint, and I need that to dry. So while that's still wet, I can draw into it and just sort of disrupt the surface a little bit, create some lines. And now I'm going to find an edge on the right hand side of this painting. Okay, the paint is dry, we can take off the latex, and this is what you get. You get these lovely shapes, positive, negative, and it's really fun to pull this stuff off. It's really stretchy, it's like elastic. And so that all comes off, and then I can create some edges and just sort of define this botanically sort of thing I've got going up here. Put some dark paint up here, which I then decide I don't particularly like, so I try and get rid of that a bit. I ground my plant using the colour shaper to put the paint on, but leaving it quite sort of loose paint as well. And now I'm just going to paint out some of that so that it's more integrated, it's not too dominant. And I want to create an edge over here. And I'm going to put some words in here that sort of talk about what this painting is about. Still keep dreaming, I write there, but it's not too clearly written. And then a little bit of nonsense there, and then a bit of the blue up there, and some more drawing into the wet paint to suggest that plant form there. We're done! So that's a fun way to use mixed media and lots of freedom to create a